Just want to introduce the newest guitar to the collection. This is a Les Paul style guitar. I decided to have a go at making one of these, and here it is. Here's the finished product. So overall, it went well. It's mahogany. It's built from mahogany on the back and the neck here. It's got a maple top, right? The top is carved, which was a challenge. Had to use gouges and small planes and sanding to get it, contoured, but it all it turned out pretty well in the end. It's an ebony fretboard. Okay, I put fret dots in. I chickened out on the more elaborate inlay that you see on Les Pauls. You see that big, trapezoidal shaped inlay. That has to be cut in with a router. I will do it sometime, but I just decided on this guitar because the neck was all built. I didn't want to go, routing for inlay and then screw it up. So I went with the fret dots, which I'm familiar with, and they're easier to do. They're abalone, right? They came out quite nice. The neck is in at an angle, so this is the other thing that's different about a Les Paul. It's called a break angle. So the body is flat here. And then the neck, if you notice, has got a slight angle. It's 4.5 degrees. And that was achieved with planing. I planed the front of the guitar down to 4.5 degrees. I rode the tail of a long plane, a number 7 plane, on a block that was put here to be the same height as a bridge. Planed it down and got the 4.5 degrees, and then cut the tenon with a router riding on this plane, the 4.5 degree plane, so that the tenon was slanted at 4.5, and then I did the shoulders of the neck with again with a router using a jig to get that at 4.5 degrees, so the whole neck goes in and all fits in nice and tight. Took some planning, but it came out pretty good. The other thing is the headstock. Headstock is tilted at 15 degrees. It's not a flat headstock, and that had to be done with a scarf joint. So the neck had to be cut off at 15 degrees, okay, and then flipped over and glued on so that you get this angle. There's a veneer on the headstock. It's got an ebony veneer, and turned out nice, but it's a little too thick. I need to do it half this thickness. This is 3/16 of an inch thick. It needs to be 3/32. And the reason is it comes up a little too high on the nut here, so that when I was cutting the nut action in, the strings kind of go down on the truss rod cover. Not a big deal, but in the next one I'll make this thinner and make it thicker on this side so that the strings clear the truss rod cover when the nut is being filed, right? Because the string, as you file the nut, strings come down. They have to come down on the first fret to within 15-20 thousandths of an inch above the fret to get the right feel for playing. It's got 2 humbuckers, okay? So they're basically double pickups, like 2 single coils, and they're in with opposite polarity, so it cancels the hum, thus humbucker. So there's 1, 2. And there's a volume and a tone control for each one. So there's a lot more wiring in this guitar. There's a switch up here. There's about, I think, 5 wires that communicate with the control box back and forth. And all the wiring and capacitors and everything have to be put in the right spot. There's different ways to wire it, but anyway, it all came out good. I had no mistakes. The cavity, 2 cavities cut on the back here, one for the control cavity access, so there's a cover for that I built from pickguard material using a template and router, and the same over here for the switch. All right, sounds pretty good. nice sustain because, you know, the in part because of the glue-on neck, right? And also the angle on the headstock, you know, creates a more contact here because the strings angle over the nut at a steeper angle, so you get more force down on the nut here. And also where the bridge is higher than on a Fender, down here it's the same thing. You know, the angle is more acute and you get more force down on the bridge. So with a glue-on neck and good connection there on either end with the strings, you get great sustain. That's the neck pickup, which is it's got a more mellow sound, and this is the bridge pickup. It's got kind of a more trebly sound. I don't have the strings where they're going to be in terms of action. The nut action has to come down just a few thousandths lower, and the overall neck action has to be lowered as well. But I got it now where, you know, where it's playable, but the strings don't buzz. And the reason for that is I haven't done the frets yet. The frets have to be leveled and polished, and then I can bring the action down. You know, the truss rod has to be adjusted to get the right bow in the neck and everything. So when I, you know, get all those adjustments made, I can bring the action right down and have it as low as I want it, you know. But overall, it turned out really good. I'm quite happy with it. Les Paul.